Hi everyone, how are you? How is your day going? It's me again. If you're seeing my face for the first time, please like, share, and subscribe. And if you have been on my channel, whether you've been subscribed or not, welcome again. So today I bring to you a very interesting topic. It's gonna be in form of a preaching. So it's whether you are thinking to Jackbada or you are even thinking to stay in America or wherever you are, or you're even thinking to stay in Nigeria, this message is for everybody. Pick it from wherever it resonates with you. So I want to talk about avoiding the comfort trap. Sometimes because we are comfortable, we often get trapped due to the comfort we enjoy, or not even necessarily enjoy the comfort we are used to. There are some comforts that you're not enjoying, but you're just used to it. So you're just used to it, and let me use the word convenient. It's probably just a convenient situation, and you have made it your comfort zone, which necessarily does not mean you're comfortable, but because you're not stressed, because you feel like this is also okay. So you've made it your comfort zone. So that's what we want to talk about today. Avoiding the comfort trap. Once you feel like this is also okay, then you get trapped in that situation. And I'm going to give instances. I like to give real life examples. So let me give an instance of somebody that is working and making $20,000 a year. Sometimes they can talk themselves into that situation becoming comfortable due to the things they are trying to avoid that are not convenient. Take, for instance, you're making $20,000 a year. You know that if you make more than that, you won't get some benefits. Your tax refund will go to zero once you start making the threshold of good income earners, let's say 75,000, then you start getting almost nothing from your tax refund. Then you don't get benefits anymore. So some people would rather choose that 10K tax refund a year, choose that, let me get benefits, instead of moving out of that comfort zone that could let them get more, but they don't want to do that because they feel like once I start looking for more, then there are sacrifices I will have to pay. So they get trapped in that comfort. They get trapped in it. So that's what we want to talk about. Would you rather get better than getting trapped by the comfort that is not really comfortable, that is not really moving you forward? So when we say comfort, it doesn't necessarily mean your life is where it's supposed to be. You're just making do with what you have and creating a comfort around that thing that you have. And that is when you're holding yourself down. Just like that thing happens to a lot of us women, especially because we don't want to have body count. We are becoming comfortable in an abusive relationship because you don't want to start counting men that, it will now be so number of men that I've been with. And you know that relationship is not, you can't, everything we have is definitely not 100% of what we want. They probably tick a lot of what we want. So I don't want to use the word that relationship is not 100% of what you want. That relationship probably does not even tick 5 of 10 of your list, but because you don't want to have body count, you are building a comfort zone in that relationship when you can easily move forward. So that is that for women. And some people, fear of unknown can trap them in a comfort zone. They don't want to take the next step forward, thinking that, what if I do this? What if this happens? Forgetting that if you refuse to take that step, you might not get better. You will be in that one spot. You won't, you already know what will happen in that one spot because you're already used to whatever is happening in that one spot. But what about what could happen in a better way if you move a little bit away from that, your comfort zone? So that is what fear does to us also. Being scared, being not wanting to take risk, not wanting to take risk. So that brings us again to convenience. Convenience. So a lot of people, because of convenience, because of fear, they don't want to take risk. That is what happened to a lot of all these CBEX people that were scammed. Some people put their life savings in it. They would rather put their life savings in a get rich quick scheme than to, if you had introduced them to a business that would take about a year or two for them to get that 100% back and still be sustainable for monthly or daily income, still, they would rather not do it. They prefer that get rich quick. They prefer that get rich fast. That's why they will go and put that income, because they don't want to stress. That is another thing about comfort. Not wanting to stress, not wanting to try something new. That's what comfort does. So a lot of time, not wanting to stress, not wanting to risk, not wanting to try can make you lose. Even though sometimes you won't know you're losing anything. But for real, you are losing something that you are not really aware of. So another thing, so now I want to relate this comfort to Jakpada. So now people that are already sure that their life could be better if they move. There are some comforts they look at that they used to tell themselves, oh, what if I now move to a place without electricity? I will now miss this constant light. What if I now move to a place that doesn't have a good road like this? I will now miss out on the good roads. But like I said, everything in life that we want might not be all ticked. Matter of fact, they don't always get ticked. You have to go for the ones that are most prioritized on your list. So now you already know that this comfort zone I'm in, I'm not too satisfied. I still need something better. I still need something that can make my life more comfortable. But you're looking at those things that give you comfort in that comfort zone and you don't want to lose them. That's another way of getting trapped in a comfort zone. Now I'm going to liken it to people that are abroad, people that are in Nigeria doing well, probably at a job. And let me use an example. You are probably earning 80 to 90,000 or 100,000 or whatever thousand you're making. And you know there's an opportunity to make more. But you're just consoling yourself with, this one is also okay. After all, I'm not hungry. After all, I'm paying my bills on time. Life is not about paying bills on time. Life is not about being able to afford what you need when you need it. Once that thought comes to you that I can actually be this, that is your inner person wanting more than what you already have. I'm not preaching greed, and I'm not preaching not being satisfied or lack of content. That's not what I'm preaching. But whenever your mind thinks about something, Bible says, whatsoever a man thinketh, so he is. People that created this, people that invented that, the idea dropped in their mind. Once your mind is telling you, I can actually be better, the only thing that can hold you back is you convincing yourself by the comfort you're surrounded with. You can be trapped in that comfort. Once your mind is still in America, they don't really increase salary by a huge sum of money. They'll be increasing your salary, but you have to move from a job to the other to get a good amount of increment. Once your mind is telling you, I can actually be better, I can better my degree, I can actually move up the ladder in my career, it is time to move. Once your mind is telling you, I can actually be this, and you are well convinced in your spirit, it is time to move. But what most people do is they get trapped in that comfort zone because of fear, because of not wanting to lose what they already have. Some people don't want to take risk. They don't want to grow their business because they don't want to take that risk. They don't want to lose the money they already saved up. Forgetting that if you fail to take that risk, better things might not come to you. Life is all about risk. We waking up, walking on the road is risk. Eating is risk. Drinking water is a risk. A lot of people have drank water and they just die from there. A lot of people died while eating. A lot of people, you can't be a perfect driver. You can't be too careful. You just can't be too careful in life. So being comfortable and not wanting to lose anything is a way of losing a lot of things. Not wanting to lose anything, just holding on to that comfort. It's a way of losing a lot of things you are not even aware of. Now, some people will want to argue that I would rather not be aware that I'm losing something. But trust me, like I said earlier, once that thought crosses your mind, that is a way of losing your peace. Once that thought crosses your mind that I can be this, I can go here, I can move from this job, I can actually get better, once that thought crosses your mind, your peace has reduced. Because for you to cross it once, it will keep flashing. It will keep flashing. So you either silence it or you feed on it. Silencing it means you want to be trapped where you are. You're satisfied with what you already have. So that's what it does. It makes you lose your peace. And another thing we need to know is comfort brings false contentment. It brings false contentment. You know that there's more you could get, you could be better, you could actually be this or that. But because of that comfort you've sold to yourself, that comfort also sells you false contentment. You want to feel like, this one I already have is also okay. This one I already have is also enough. I don't have to look for any more. And also, lastly, comfort is a way of self-denial. It's almost the same thing with false contentment. It's self-denial. You know that it could be better, but then because of the comfort you're surrounded with, because of that little comfort you've preached to yourself, oh, I like this job, they don't stress me, I like this country, there's electricity, I would rather be here because I have time for other things. I would your own. So it brings you self-denial of other things you could be, of other things you actually want, that you're supposed to move forward and pursue. Then you start denying yourself of those things. So I just want to bring this to us today, that we should not get trapped in that comfort. We shouldn't get trapped in it. We shouldn't get too content in the name of wanting to be contented with what you have. Yeah, it's okay to be contented with what you have, but at the same time, in that content, you should also yearn for more. You should also aspire to become better. Even the Bible says, "Blessed are those that are thirsty, for they shall be filled." If you are not thirsty, if you are not thirsty, if you are not hungry, you cannot be filled. Once you feel like this is also okay, this is also okay, you won't be able to see things around you. You won't be able to see opportunities around you. Even when you see it, you are deceiving yourself. You are lying to yourself that this is also okay. I don't need that. Whereas you need it. There's nobody that doesn't need growth. There's nobody that doesn't need moving forward. It's just a lie we tell ourselves and convincing ourselves to remain at the same spot. So, I hope this blesses somebody today. If you like it, like, comment, and share. Let us know what you think about being in your own comfort trap. I don't want to call it zone, comfort trap. And I hope we have a good evening, and I'll see you on my next one. Bye.